Hello, boxing this week 21. I think last week we did a big old episode, watch along to BETERBIEV Bivol, which is obviously going to be a big part of what we talk about today. But the main thing is that Paolo, first of all, how are you? But also, happy birthday!
Thank you very much. This is a monumentous occasion. I feel old. Connor.
Yeah.
30. But as I just said to you, players play, man. Players play. That is it. We're here. 30 years old. I found out today. Shout out to a couple people in the boxing fraternity. Bradley Skeet shares his birthday with me.
Cool.
So happy birthday to Bradley Skeet. Who else? Somebody I work with. There's a few crowd, little September 17ers. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I've been good, man. Was knackered after. Do you know what? I will say one thing about the other night. Yeah, you see that live that we done. Yeah, I felt like we just watched. We done like a UFC stream. You know, like how tired I was afterwards.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. It was normal time. Some controversial, some madness. I'm sure we can go over it shortly, and I know you're going to come up with the weeklies and stuff. But Fraser Clark is, his jaw is wired shut as we speak, which is I hope he gets better. Because it's difficult. I don't think many boxers recover from that. Honestly, I hope he's all right.
No, it's tough. It's tough.
And I just want to say we did react to it, but in the sport of everything, I wish him obviously all the best, and I hope he recovers. And
of course,
he put them guys put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. Do you understand what I mean? So it's like, I think sometimes it doesn't get mentioned enough what role the boxers have a part to play. I'm a big advocate of saying that the fans are just as important to the sport as the boxers, but obviously the boxers are taking a greater risk.
Yeah.
So big up to them. But yeah, sorry, go on, Connor.
No, that's all right. Right, we're going to do a weekly roundup, although not a lot really to talk about. Bivol obviously lost to BETERBIEV, but we'll get into that in a bit more detail. Bivol's manager and team are now protesting against mainly the 116-112 card, which I think that's fair enough to protest that one judge, but whatever. Frank Warren has signed Liam Cameron after his performance against Ben Whittaker. Obviously, that ended in a draw, but we'll talk about that because that's one of the more interesting parts of Fight Night. Sam Gilly will defend his Commonwealth title on the 15th. On the 15th? On a Friday Fight Night. I can't remember what the date is. I will find out.
What's that? Wasserman?
No. So Sam Gilly's now signed to Queensbury.
Okay.
So headlining October 18th. This week, tomorrow, Friday.
He weren't signed because when he fought on Boxer, he weren't signed to Boxer though.
No, he was just fighting under their
promotion.
Yeah, apparently he's quite a good ticket seller, so makes sense.
Yeah, he does. He does get the numbers turn up. I think I remember watching his fight at York Hall, obviously where he had that like mad bout, like it was mental.
Yeah.
And him and his opponent, both of them turned up with like a stupid crowd. Yeah. So I think he's done well.
Liam Williams has announced his retirement from boxing due to a number of concussions. Matchroom have signed heavyweight amateur star Connor Tudsbury. I had to look because I couldn't remember his surname. And Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez rematches on my birthday in Phoenix, Arizona. So that's December 7th for anybody that doesn't know. And there's also another world title rematch on that. It's the I can't remember. But it's a really good card that Top Rank have announced. Everybody's up in their game. We won't talk about it too much, but Junto Nakatani with another pretty special performance this weekend with I think it was Canelo in the crowd for Nakatani.
Yeah, Canelo was in the crowd.
Yeah, Canelo and Noah Inoue in the crowd. And Takuma Inoue loses by quite an upset fight. But we're not going to talk about that too much because we're a little bit limited for time. And those fights were generally either like Nakatani's knockout was brilliant again, but that's kind of standard at this point. So we'll wait for him to fight somebody a bit more and then we'll get into it, which really just takes us straight into BETERBIEV Bivol, which, I mean, we'll start from the start with Ben Whittaker, who we now have confirmation he sprained his ankle.
Okay. You
That's
don't believe
me.
you
That's
don't
not
believe
going to get me. No. No.
I think, do you know what? Yeah, look, I think he's getting some criticism in terms of unjust. Some of it is kind of, I'll be honest with you, because of the way that he is, he was always going to get a certain type of criticism of people just because of the way he is. I like Ben Whittaker, innit? Like, I think he's good.
Yeah.
Just because of him going over the ring, it's not changing my opinion of him. I saw a really touching interview of him where he was talking about missing funerals for the Olympics and all these things. So, you know, we listen, we as boxing fans do only see maybe 10% of a fighter during the whole camp, 5%, not even 5%, really. Unless you're going down to the gyms and watching them train and doing little bits with them, you're not doing it. So my thing is as well, like I think people need to, before I say what I've got to say, Connor, people need to remember that I think Ben Whittaker is very dedicated to the sport, trains hard. I think some of the criticism he gets unjust. Don't get me wrong, his style brings on some criticism, though, because when it doesn't pull off, like I said to you, people are going to watch him either to fail or to succeed. And when he fails, they'll jump on him like that. But having said that, Liam Cameron should have won that fight.
Yeah. Whittaker looked like he didn't look like himself at all. I mean, the problem is it's hard to tell whether or not it's Liam Cameron is like, he was a top amateur, Liam Cameron. A top amateur. People don't really give him enough credit for that because he was in an era of amateurs that was really tough, but he was top. So this was much harder fight for Whittaker than he's ever had before. And we're looking at it and going, oh, was Whittaker off in that he couldn't do his stylish dancing around all this? Or is it just the fact Cameron is too good to do that shit to?
Cameron was catching him a lot.
Yeah. And it was hurting. The shots to the body were clearly having a bit of an effect. He was slicing him down.
But he was getting hit a lot, though.
Cameron was, it was turned into a really good fight, actually. It's a
either
shame
way, it's like you question how much power Ben Whittaker had, or did he have enough power to do that fight? I think looking at that, do you not think as well? Let me ask you a question. Do you not think, like, looking at that fight, he would be better suited to fight someone like Callum Simpson at super middle?
Yeah, potentially. It doesn't. I don't know. It's interesting, this fight, because that's the thing. Liam Cameron's come up in weight. Whittaker, it's really hard to tell what Whittaker can do in boxing. Because amateur-wise, we know he's a great amateur. He always will be. That's cemented. But as a pro, we just don't know what we're dealing with because Cameron was just walking him down.
I think we need to remember. I think we need to remember though as well. He is, maybe there's a bit of naivety. Not naivety. Boxers know what they're doing, innit? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe there's a bit of with Ben Whittaker. You've got one side of it where you could argue from the outside that he's still very early in his career.
Yeah. Very early in his career.
Has he had 10 pro fights yet?
Was he 8-0 going into the ring? Or was he? It'll be very close. Right,
he's just under 10 fights. Say double check that, but just under 10 fights. Stand corrected, obviously, if Connor says, but even so,
he's 8-0. 8-0 going in.
Yeah,
he's 8-1 now.
You're talking about a pro novice who's had less than 10 fights. Yeah, I don't know what people expect of him, and when he does step up, he gets grief. This is a problem with boxing fans. Yeah, like I don't know if you agree or disagree with this, Connor. Yeah, I'm not saying that he's a world beater. He's definitely not Ben Whittaker at the moment. No. Could he be? We don't know. Depends how his career trajectory is, but that's where he wants to aspire to be. Like you wouldn't be in the game to fight if you didn't think you couldn't become a world champion. Do you know what I mean? So he's gonna, of course, say that he could beat the Bivols, the BETERBIEVs, Yards, the Lindens, all these guys. Linden, I think, is a mad one because he did throw a dig at Linden, and I think right now Linden's too experienced for him. It's
massively.
Like Linden will win that fight now. Yeah, if they fight now. I've been saying this for years. Linden's a problem for most light heavyweights. Yeah, he just is know-how. I call it know-how. He's got know-how.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, Lyndon Arthur's like that loss to Bivol. I think losing to Bivol is so much harder than losing to BETERBIEV because BETERBIEV just knocks you out. It's like, oh, he's more powerful. What can I do? Bivol just outdoes you. And then
outdoes you, but how
Lyndon's
much do you
next fight
learn from
after-
being in the ring? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
my point. Lyndon's gone in,
that
and then he's
experience,
beat Liam Cameron.
And Liam Cameron's solid.
And Liam Cameron's solid, and Lyndon Arthur beat him. So is Lyndon Arthur the fight that Ben Whittaker really wants to pick right now? Because Lyndon Arthur's the kind of guy where he would just message and say, "Get onto your manager, let's make the fight." You know, I don't know what fight is potentially next for him. But what I do know is at the moment, I think he needs to go back to the drawing board, as I'm sure he will with his team, and decide what's next. I mean, do you take that? You're kind of forced to take the Liam Cameron rematch, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, he has to.
You have to write that. I mean, if you write that, then there's nothing said. You can move on as normal. You don't fight him. You're always going to have that shadow over your head.
Exactly.
Should have lost that fight.
If they do the rematch and Ben Whittaker just outboxes him or even finishes him, then everyone's like, oh, okay, maybe he did just hurt his ankle, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But currently, people are going to say he quit. I don't for 1 second believe that he threw them over the ring on purpose. That was just the weight, like the momentum carried them over. I'm just not convinced he was as hurt as, like, I don't think he needed a wheelchair to get out. And then he was like punching a hole in the wall.
That Liam Cameron was saying that their fight, they were telling his corner to stay down, pretend.
That's
is that just
Cameron? That's the other
shit?
Side, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have no idea if that's true. I mean, the only thing that is true, there's a video of Ben Whittaker walking around in the airport the night of because he smashes a fan's phone because he's in a bad mood.
But spraining your ankle, you can though.
Wall. Yeah, you can.
You just don't have the same limited movement with a sprained ankle. You don't have the same movement though. Like you wouldn't be able to box at a high level with a sprained ankle.
No.
But you can walk around.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. But like they need to run it back. That's the answer. They have to do it again, and we have to see it. And also that fight for the 4.5 rounds that it lasted was really good, good watch. So I think I'm up for that in all ways. But let's move on. The next fight of the night was Sky Nicholson versus Raven Chapman, first female world title fight in in Riyadh, and it was good as per usual. Sky Nicholson kind of did her stuff. Raven Chapman was better than I thought she would be, but it's going to take someone pretty elite to give Sky Nicholson.
I just need to see Amanda Serrano. All these fighters now, Amanda Serrano, because I'm telling you now, she's going to beat her. As in, Sky Nicholson will beat Amanda Serrano. There is only one reason you are avoiding that fight as much as you want to do it now, is because that fight is too much of a risk. Yeah. And Sky Nicholson, look, I'm not arguing and saying that as a fighter. She's definitely not scared to fight her. She probably would fight her. She just chooses not that fight because it's too much of a risk. She's fighting Katie Taylor in a rematch, supposedly. I don't know if that's still going ahead, but looking like
that is next month.
On that camaraderie joke card of Jake Paul and flipping what is it? Jake Paul v Grandad.
Yeah.
Grandad v Grandad. No, we're gonna label this one Grandad v Disney Star. Because it's embarrassing and shame on. I'm gonna get onto my point because I know I dragged a bit, but shame on the boxing boards as well for making that fight.
Oh yeah.
Because if something happens to Mike Tyson now, that's gonna hang on whoever's head sanctioned a 59-year-old man to get in a ring with someone who's 25 years younger than him. I think it's mental. Do you know? Do you want to know something as well? Yeah, I go to. Like semi-pro shows, which are classed as unlicensed, but they're semi-pro shows, very well run. There's so many of them about now where a lot of pros transition from the white-collar semi-pro scene, And even at that level, the security, the ambulances, and all the paramedics that are there, it's run like a pro show. Now, it's not like an unlicensed backstreet brawl. There's procedures, there's medicals, there's everything you go through, They don't get the same light as, say, like the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. And I get it. It's purely because of money and the names and clout. Yeah. But ultimately, the board will look at that and sanction a fight between a guy who's 29 years old and a guy who's 60 years old, but wouldn't give certain shows pro licenses because they operate as semi-pro. Like, it don't make any sense. So if you're interested, listen, drop a comment. If you're interested in watching Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, cool. I know what kind of fan you are. I'll be honest with you. I'm just sending shots for whoever. I think, it's long. I'm going to watch Katie Taylor and Serrano, and I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah. I'm also, I think they've loaded it with the most valuable promotions, the Jake Paul promotion company. They've got a lot of prospects from America. And apparently some of them are meant to be of actual quality.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I'm thinking I'm going to watch the card, but my main event is Katie Taylor, Serrano.
But going back to my point, just very quickly before we carry on. Yeah, Sky Nicholson will box. I'm saying this now. Sky Nicholson will box Serrano's head off.
Yeah.
Clip that. Put that in the bank. Put that wherever you want. Listen, some of my calls have not been accurate over the last few weeks, and some have. That's the game. Players play. Connor, players play. That's the new one. Players play.
Players play. Decent.
All right. Yeah, go on.
Sky Nicholson just looked really good. Again, she always does. But Chapman, like, in fairness, like, Chapman showed that she belongs at that level. Mm-hmm. She wasn't out of her depth. She just wasn't as good. That's the simple fact. There's not a lot more to that. It was a pretty typical one. I just got the judges' scorecards, and one judge had Sky Nicholson winning every round but one, and the other two had her winning every round but two. And we're talking to, like, elite featherweights. Like, it's just, it's Sky Nicholson territory. When she gets Serrano, I think she'll beat her. But Serrano's a tough fight. What was next? Was it Chris Eubank Jr.? It was Chris Eubank Jr. versus Sarah Meta.
Have you got banners for these, or is it just?
Nah, it's just BETERBIEV.
Yeah, cool.
I'll chop it up later. But Eubank Jr. looked good.
Done what he needed to do. Says it on the tin.
Yeah.
You buy tuna. Connor, listen to this. Yeah, you buy tuna in the shop. You buy tuna in water. You know what you're getting. Tuna in water, or you buy it in the brine. But either way, you know what you're getting. Chris Eubank, with this fight, you knew what you was getting. He had to win. He did win. He won how everyone expected him to win. No one was interested in that fight. Cool. Let's now go and see. Do you know what? I want to see Conor Benn and Eubank now before they go and do their thing. It's a stupid fight.
Promotion.
Yeah, it's a stupid fight because of the weight, but the legacy behind it, we need to see it. Catch weight. These lot hate each other. Get it on. Scrap.
Yeah.
Eubank, move on. Do what you need to do. He did win a world title at that fight, though.
Yeah, IBO, but he's won like 2 of those before as well. Like, it's just Eubank is just a case of why, like, at 34 we're still taking warm-up fights. That's just it's getting to the point where it's like frustrating, because in my head I don't know what level that guy is. Eubank might be the best middleweight in the world right now, although I think Hamza Shiraz is better, but Eubank might be.
I think Hamza Shiraz is still wrong for him.
I also think Janabek is better.
Hamza Shiraz will box his head off now, just because of styles, height, reach, everything. Hamza Shiraz will do everything better than Eubank now.
Yeah, he wants it more as well.
Wants it more, better boxer now, unfortunately, and it's listen, man. There's loads of fights for Eubank out there. You could even have the Tyler Denny's and all these guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're hard fights for him, but he's not taking these fights.
No, he's got no interest in it. He wants money.
That
has reminded me. He is we'll get onto that, because Hamza Shiraz is now mandatory for Janabek Alkunmaduli's, I think I've banged that, by the way, titles. So we are going to see Shiraz. That's the 2 best middleweights in the world fighting. And the prize fighter thing, can you be a prize fighter if you've never been a full world champion?
Yes, you can. Derek Chisora is a prize fighter.
Is he?
Yeah. Clark considers himself a prize fighter. He only fights for money, bro. Prize fighter.
Yeah.
Right, you got to
of money
remember the
definitely
definition.
making?
You got to remember the definition of a prize fighter, though, Connor.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, Joshua's a prize fighter, but that's a top prize fighter who's a world champion or ex-world champion, and that's Joshua. Yeah, Fury, that's Fury. Even now, Usyk, that's Usyk now. Usyk say thank you to Fury and Joshua though, because he wouldn't be there without them. But I'm saying to you, and then like heavyweight, Bivol, BETERBIEV, they're prize fighters. But then you got the guys who don't really care about money, titles, want to just fight in a big stadium, headline, money. They're prize fighters. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I can understand that. But Eubank did his job. We had the weird bit with Eubank and Ben in the ring. It looks like that Turkey Al Sheikh is making that fight next. And Neymar doing the face-off. We put a clip on all of our socials, I think, so you can go see that, but it's been everywhere anyway.
Big up George, man. Big up George. In the live, obviously, the other day with us.
Yeah.
Expert analysis there from Mr. Acker.
Yeah. So, decent. Eubank Ben, that'll get announced at some point, I imagine, later this year. Then what did we have? So I'm trying to rattle through this because the big one is
Jai Opetaia, Jack Massey.
Jai Opetaia, Jack Massey. That went.
Fraser Clark and Wardley, and then you had obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Opetaia did his thing. I don't have anything else to add to that really. He just did his thing. He showed why.
Big up to Jack Massey for getting in the ring with him though as well.
Yeah. Jack Massey did well as well.
Like, Billum Smith, at some point you got to take that fight. I'm sorry, you have to. If Billum Smith gets through his next one against Mr. Gilberto, listen, if he gets through that, which is a tough fight, the guy has only lost once, so he could lose that fight. But the winner of that fight, they've got to meet Jai Opetaia. I feel like Jai Opetaia is. Do you know what? Where is he? What is he? He is. That guy's John Wick. He's John Wick.
Yeah, I can understand it.
Yeah, he's John Wick. Boogeyman, whatever you want to call him. People don't want to fight him.
No, he's cold.
Big up to those that have fought him though as well, because there are people that willingly stepped in the ring with him. Jack Massey, Ellis Zoro. There's a couple of guys that willingly stepped in the ring with him. No matter what happened, they got in there with him. But I need to see him unify this division. People need to start taking the fights. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But I think Turkey will make that happen. Provided
we've got the first sort of cruiserweight, Billum Smith, then Zerdo fighting next month. So we're literally a month out from that. So it's going to happen. But Opetaia did his thing again. It wasn't a great fight because it was very much, you could tell who the world champion was. But Jack Massey did himself proud in that he got in there and did put a fight together. And in fairness, for the first few rounds, he was actually competitive.
But the thing is, the thing is as well, no one can complain about Opetaia's opponents or choice of opponents because I don't think people understand when I say this, and go and look it up. Nobody wants to fight him. So there's not people lining up. There's not mandatories lining up to fight Jai Opetaia. The money's either not enough for them to take the beating because they're not good enough to beat him, or they're just not on taking the fight. Yeah. Whereas Jack Massey stepped in, had a good performance against Isaac Chamberlain, another great fight. Two good boxers, by the way, Isaac and Massey. And then obviously he's gone on. He's got the title shot in Saudi. He's come short, but he'll learn a lot from it. And I think nowadays, win or lose, the records, having these guys on it, win or lose, looks good because it shows that you tried. Yeah.
It's the performance.
To talk about. Yeah, it's the performances, man. You have kids one day and they look at the record and you think, I fought these guys. I mean, I just before you step in, I was at a boxing show and I was meeting loads of ex-professional boxers. Yeah, John Conte from Liverpool, ex light heavyweight from the 80s, champion as well, and he was talking to me about fighting on Muhammad Ali undercards and having conversations with Muhammad Ali. A conversation where Muhammad Ali told him not to come fight on his card because he didn't want his limelight taken away from him. This is what Muhammad Ali said to John Conte. I think it's very well documented when he does his talks and goes around. You can find it on YouTube. But, I was sitting in a room with guys who were WBC world champions in the 80s, 90s, guys who fought on Ali undercards, guys who trained with Muhammad Ali's, the guys that worked with all these Evander Holyfields, all these guys, that they were there. So, my point being is the thing that Jack Massey can take away from this is he's fought these guys.
Yeah, and he did well. George has just commented they're trying to freeze Opetaya out. I don't know if they are anymore. I don't know if they are anymore. I think at some point when sort of Matchroom first got a hold of him, before Riyadh had really kicked off for Riyadh season, Opetaya probably would have never really got his shot. He would have been an IBF world champion and relatively unknown. But everybody knows about him now. You can't really hide from him.
But people are hiding from him, though. People are hiding from him.
Well, they're trying, but when Turkey Al Sheikh says, I'm going to put this amount of money on the table, and you literally can't refuse that.
But you know what it is? There's fighters still refusing it with the money on the table. That's how much people don't want to fight him. Yeah. Billiam Smith was offered the fight for, what was it, December? He said, no, not for me. Yeah. Not the right time was his words. When's he fighting now?
November 16th.
November 16th. But so I need to double check this year, but I'm pretty sure Billiam Smith wouldn't fight Jai Opetaya because the fight date wasn't suitable for him in December. But I don't know why. He didn't state personal reasons. He didn't state X, Y, and Z. There might be a reason behind it. But this is before he announced the world title fight. He's now fighting a world champion in November. Until I'm shown why or why he's explained, if you're asking me what that looks like, that looks like someone who don't want to fight Jai Opetaya. And I like Billiam Smith. I think he's a good boxer. I think he's people need to start respecting him. But also, we got to stop doing this thing where we as ticket payers for tickets, pay for the tickets, go to these fights. We need to see good cards. I don't want to watch shit.
Yeah. But we're getting that now. Opetaya will fight. I believe he's going to fight the winner of Billiam Smith and Ramirez. Hopefully it is Billiam Smith because I would rather watch that. Although I think Ramirez is going to win, but I'd like Billiam Smith to do it. Opetaya did his thing. Then we go to the Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. The 13th round was pretty quick. Fabio Wardley is destructive.
He's been moved into the top 10 now as well.
Yeah, which is a bit. That's interesting. I don't really understand that because Fraser Clark, for all of his amateur experience, is a novice pro.
They put Ngannou into it. Nothing surprises me. WBC put Ngannou in top 10.
True. Yeah.
So boxing's fucked. Let's be brutally honest with you now. We can swear in it.
Yeah.
Boxing's fucked. So I'm not surprised he's in top 10. I'm not saying he don't deserve it, but Ngannou was in top 10. So
I agree. I think Fabio Wardley is a top 10 heavyweight, but I don't understand how beating Fraser Clark credits that. But then in fairness, F.A. Ajagba is ranked number 10 in that list, and I don't remember the last time F.A. Ajagba fought somebody of any value, with all due respect. So
it's politics. Whatever. Boxing's politics.
Yeah. But that knockout's mental. If this is when this is clipped down, you'll see the knockout underneath us or on whatever. Live people, I'm sorry, you just go watch it because it's about 10 seconds and he breaks his jaw, literally breaks his jaw. You can it's hard to describe, but there's a dent in Fraser Clark's head. Seriously,
as it stands, his jaw is wired shut.
Yeah.
So that's the surgery that he's had this week. He has actually typed, but I've seen. Well, I was watching something, and it's not an easy surgery to recover from. Probably won't be able to fight at the best part of a year, maybe.
Which is a lot. He's old as well. Not old, but older
33.
than your normal.
32, 33? Yeah.
Something along those lines. He's older than you'd want to be if you were...
I think, do you know what, though? You see with Fraser Clark, he don't need to box again. I'll tell you why. There's certain fighters that can transition to media. I think he's got a career in boxing if he fights or not. His career
true. He
is
speaks
doing the media and everything. He's very, very good. He speaks well. If he doesn't fight again, I think he's got a job for life. Yeah.
True. He will fight again, but you are right. Unless this injury is way worse than we think, the guy will fight. For Fabio Wardley, what's next? I've heard a lot of people saying Osso Varlin would be a good fight. I quite like that. Varlin obviously coming off of the AJ loss. Wardley taking a big step up. I think that's a good fight. But there's loads of fights for him. Wardley.
I don't want to hear. Do you know what though? If Wardley fights Varlin and Wardley wins, I don't want to hear people say it was a good fight because no, I'll tell you. I'll say why. Your screen, right. Your thing's going blurry.
Fuck's sake.
Sorry, I'll talk whilst we're doing it. But I don't want to hear people say that Wardley beating Warlin's a good fight. Because when Anthony Joshua beat Warlin, people were saying he's done. So this is my thing boxing fans need to remember. When we're saying that certain fighters are done for other fighters fighting them, but then your favourite fighter fights that fighter down the line and then they beat them, oh no, it was a good performance. But 2 fights ago, you were saying that fighter was washed up.
Yeah.
Boxing fans are sick. I swear to you, they're sick. They're sick. So all I'm saying is if Wardley wins a fight, I'll give Wardley the same respect I gave Joshua for beating Warlin, which was high because Warlin's a good opponent. I just don't want to hear this thing of like he was now good but wasn't really good when Joshua fought him. It don't work like that, mate.
No.
You know what I mean?
No doubt you'll see it anyway, though.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, Wardley can do what he wants now. He's past the British level by quite a bit. Anybody saying Johnny Fisher versus him is stupid. Johnny Fisher is still growing. Like
I'd love to see Johnny Fisher beat Moses Atuma.
I would. Moses is a bit higher level.
British title.
Oh, that'd be a good fight.
For a British title.
Because you know Johnny Fisher's not going down easy.
No.
He'd land, but I think Moses would be too good. Yeah. Anyway, that's a Fury Usyk, really. That's a conversation for them because they're both on the undercard. Yeah. Main event time, BETERBIEV versus Bivol. Now, I've watched it back, and my outrage at the time was maybe not justified. But obviously on the live, we were all pretty much all thinking Bivol had done it or it was a draw. Now, since watching it back, I can understand how BETERBIEV gets it. I still think Bivol should have won for me.
Yeah.
But then I can understand how it can chop and change. I don't understand 116, 112.
We got to let go of this. I'll tell you what we got to let go of, though. It's BETERBIEV threw 1,000 punches.
Yeah.
Because how many of them landed?
Yeah, I mean...
Half of them? It's a lot of punches, but half of them. 1,000 punches he didn't land. So let's stop with that one. Yeah, stop with that one. But very, very tough fight. There's probably a round in it. Again, probably one of the best boxing matches that I will watch for a long time. Watch for a long time. That those watching will watch for a long time. You ain't going to see 2 class operators like that in the ring. I don't think there isn't a bout at heavyweight that both fighters bring that.
Yeah.
There isn't a fight where you're going to see that. Do you know what I mean? Even I would say at the lower weights, where 2 guys at the BETERBIEV and Bivol's level have such a fight, which is 50-50, and they're both the top of their game. There was probably a round in it. I thought Bivol won.
Yeah. I think most people did, in fairness. But then when you watch it back, you see BETERBIEV being the aggressor. So I can understand the rounds that go where it's a 50-50 round where some people go BETERBIEV. I just think, in all honesty, I think that fight having a loser is the biggest shame because they were both so good. Like we on the live, we were doing a live stream to watch along to a fight. You're meant to be going mental for clips. We were just sat in silence watching. That's how good it was. It's the easiest fight to watch. It's like 12 rounds. It doesn't matter. It's such an easy fight to watch. Yeah, but the rematch is what we need. And I think we'll get it because Turkey Al-Sheikh also thought Bivol won. And again, if Turkey wants that, and he gets it. So I think we're going to get the rematch. And I think Bivol would win it, but he won't be undisputed because the IBF have just made BETERBIEV mandatory to fight an absolute nobody, who I will get his name. Hold on. now, would you look at that? He's not even top 15 on. Oh my God, how far down do I have to go to find this guy? No, that can't be right. Wait, you talk. I'm going to find out who this is because I can't believe.
So essentially now the IBF want to do what they normally do, which do you know what? In some cases I respect, and in other cases I think the conversation is just pointless.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, but it's now the IBF doing it. Do you know what I mean? Suleiman, I ain't mentioned him for a while, so he's all right at the moment. But the IBF are doing. They've made some stupid decisions. One of them is they are going to strip BETERBIEV, which I think is mad. There are other weights at the moment as well. The board's disputing because the IBF's made their mandatory. It's all politics. We just need one fucking belt. I'll be so honest with you. We need one belt now. It's getting too much. Like people are saying, is Usyk and Fury number 2 going to be as good as 1? No, because it's not an undisputed fight.
Yeah.
There's an undisputed fight. It's only happened once. It don't matter if there's a rematch or not. Once you're undisputed, you're undisputed. Second time you're undisputed, it don't sound as good as the guy that won it the first time out of your 2 belts.
Yeah.
So BETERBIEV and Bivol, like BETERBIEV winning undisputed, I don't think he should have. I think Bivol should have won it by a round. Let us know what you think in the comments. But I think Bivol should have won. But I had 1 round. It was a 1 round. The judge who gave BETERBIEV 116-112 needs to get his head out of whatever petrol can he's sniffing from the bottom, because it's making him high. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right, I can't find this guy, but
that's not good. That's not good though, Connor.
No, it's the fact that I don't
it's not
know.
good that you cannot find the IBF mandatory opponent for BETERBIEV. Must show how, respectively, how much of a walkthrough that is going to be. If that could be anything, that fight sounds like it's going to be laxatives. What did Derek Chisora say? I'll be like laxatives going through you.
Yeah. He said that to Dillian White, didn't he, in the face off.
BETERBIEV's a laxative that's going to go through this guy.
Yeah. But, it's not good when you get that kind of thing. But and the fact is, right, we're talking undisputed, and the undisputed doesn't always make perfect sense when you've got like Crawford won it against Spence. That made sense at the time, but there was Ennis. Jaron Ennis is in the division, so in my mind, I would like Crawford to go back and beat Ennis, and then it's like that that's everyone in the division, but Crawford did his thing. For this division, there is nobody that touches Bivol or BETERBIEV. Benavidez is there, Morel is there, Boazzi is there, Callum Smith is there, but do they beat Bivol or BETERBIEV? No, they just don't. So with these two, just give them the belts. I just keep the belts with them, because realistically, BETERBIEV's old anyway, right? So he's going to retire soon. So Bivol's going to have to start reeling off the mandatories when he has all the belts, which will happen.
Yeah.
They need to run it back. That's the takeaway. I want to see it again. I could watch it 100 times, but need to see it again.
Do you know what? I feel like certain people that are fighting for belts have to they had to have gone to I don't know. Like, I feel like all these boards, they defo go to Diddy parties. No, real talk. And it's like, if you
we're not getting invited to any corporate.
If you don't come with us to the Diddy party, we ain't giving you a title. Sure. I feel like there's so much politics. You see where I'm coming from? I
do.
Listen, it's all jest, by the way, but you get my point.
Yeah. No, but you are right. Like, getting a title shot's hard, and then Boazzi has been mandatory for so long.
He will be made. I've heard though that he will. He is. Apparently, they're waiting for a decision for his belt, because somebody else, they're calling out the mandatory. What is he mandatory for? The IBF?
No, I think he's WBO now. He was WBA for ages, and now he's WBO interim.
WBO, and if that belt is not defended, they're going to announce it soon. If they don't set a date for that, he'll be stripped to that. That'll be given to Boazzi, because he's champion in recess, isn't he?
Yeah, true.
But I think once you've won Undisputed, you've won it. Then, yeah, just give the belts back. Let the rest of the division do their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But in a fight that's that close, when the two in the division are that much better than everyone else, that's when I think the belts can stay and they can do what they want, because the quality of fight will not get better than those two. So why not just leave it with them and keep the promotion and everything going? But yeah, I mean, listen, the takeaway is that those two are just as good as we thought. We need a rematch, but equally, BETERBIEV is 39, so we'll see. Although, to be fair, the age thing needs to stop as well, because the guy is in his prime. I know he's had surgeries, but if Bivol's injuries are true as well, then he's just as mental. So
I don't listen to that, man. This is women talking. Her head's gone.
Yeah, and her
head's gone. The source is an angry ex-wife. I ain't listening to shit. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, she was going a bit mental.
Her head's gone.
We're not going to talk about that too much, but she
can't believe anything.
Like the nicest woman.
I did send that to you. She actually tried to reel off every single injury he had, or allegedly.
Yeah.
If he was injured on Saturday, and that's him injured, God forbid what he's like when he's fully fit.
Can only imagine. I mean, a killer. Yeah, right. Because we are limited for time, we're going to get to the main event for this weekend. Yeah, so we'll briefly cover this. Adam Azim fights Ohara Davis on Saturday. Really good fight. Big step up for Adam Azim. Ohara Davis obviously coming back from his first round almost upset loss in his world title fight. So he's looking to make amends and put himself back up there. Azim is looking to make sure people know he's world level. So big fight. We're going to do this quickly. So who do you think wins main event? We'll go straight away.
Azim.
As well. You think Azim's going to take?
Be a tough fight for him, but I think Azim's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a good learning fight for him.
I agree.
He didn't look good in his last fight.
I was going to say.
He didn't look good in his last fight.
Needs to step it up a little bit, but
yeah, if he don't go in 100% focus, he could lose. Ohara Davis is not that guy you can just take lightly.
No.
But if you do go in at 100%, and 100% Adam Azim, I think, will beat Ohara Davis.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we've got Dan Aziz versus Lewis Edmondson for the British light heavyweight title.
Interesting fight. Listen, I'm gonna say Dan Aziz.
Yeah.
Some conflicts of interests in terms of the people there associated with me and Mr. Aziz. So yeah, man, but he's a cool guy. I met him as well, and I've got nothing but love for him. I want to see him win, is what I'm trying to say. But it's going to be a tough fight for him, though, and he needs to step it up. I will say that.
Yeah,
he needs to step it up from the last card, and he needs to come through it looking good, because I think anything other than if he wins a British title, but the performance ain't great, I don't really know where else he goes from here, because that would have been two bad performances. But if he does it in spectacular fashion, I think the finish is going to be more so important for Dan Aziz if he can get it. If he doesn't get it, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't think he can afford to have another loss.
I'm worried for this fight that it's actually a little bit of a bogey, man. Lewis Edmondson's undefeated, 9-0, 3 knockouts on that record.
Yeah.
We have no idea how good he is. Dan Aziz is coming off of a loss to Boatsy, and then the performance after, which wasn't Dan Aziz.
Lackluster.
Like if Dan Aziz comes at his level, and as in Dan Aziz fights at the level that he can, he will win, because Dan Aziz is top. But I'm worried about this. This is I think that this could end up being really interesting, because if Aziz did lose, I'd be really. I like Aziz. I think he's a really good fighter. I'm a big fan of his, but I'm excited to watch that as well. It's a good fight. Underneath that, we've got Anthony Yard versus Ralphs Vilkins.
Yard should win.
Yard should win that. That should be
a nothing fight. Respectively, it's just like a warm-up fight.
Nothing. Yeah,
needs to get into it. Needs to get back on.
Yeah.
And then we need to see Boxer make Boatsy and Yard. Just get it done.
Easy. That's all there is to say about that. Yard has to finish him as well, by the way. I think there should be no playing about with. Where is he? Ranked 50 on BoxRec in the world. Yard shouldn't be mucking about with that. That's too easy. Jamie TKV or Tishkiva, if I'm saying that right, I think, but who knows, is fighting Franklin Ignatius.
Friends.
Are they?
Supposedly.
Friends. All right. Similar records. Jamie's 6-1, no draws. Franklin is 6-0-1, so he's got 1 draw, 6 wins.
Jamie, don't know how good Franklin is. Never watched him box. I'm going to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, same.
Jamie needs a good performance. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I'm saying this, and I like Jamie as well. I think he's a good boxer. But that heavyweight division is stacked. Phil, every boxer that fights at heavyweight is under the spotlight. They need to show what they can bring. At the moment, from what I've seen, in terms of where he goes, I don't really know yet because he's still a novice when it comes to fighting on these things. I would like to see him go far, but the competition that he's got and where he's fighting at and the level he's fighting at, even then is hard because he's probably around the same marks as like the Johnny Fishers and all them lot. Moses, all these guys.
But they're starting to leave him. They're starting to leave the station.
Yeah, they're starting to leave him. Boxer need to do. Yeah, I need to see what he's about. That's all I've got to say about that one.
No, that's right though. He needs to go and put a good performance in now, and then he needs to take a step up fight. He's got a loss, and that's because of a cut. But he wasn't good enough then. But it was because of a cut. Then we've got Francesca Hennessy returning, and she's fighting. Oh Jesus, Ana Carla Vaz de Moraes, 5-0, 4-0 Hennessy versus a 5-0 undefeated opponent. 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds. Pretty big step up that.
She steps up every single fight. Every single fight. I know we only got 4 minutes, but she steps up every single fight. And I'm just going to say now, I would not be surprised for me if I see her with a stoppage in this fight. And I spoke to her after her last win. And to be fair, I speak to her quite a lot after her fights, to be fair. She's very interactive with everyone in the way she conducts herself professionally and everything else. But she just wants to improve every fight from what I gather and what I've got from speaking to her off camera. And just general conversations. And, she had a tough fight in the last fight. Opponent gave her a really hard time. She had a lot going on. Her nan passed away. Funeral was in between camps, all of that. Now she's got a clear mind. I think she's going to get a stoppage in this fight. She's got Bradley in her corner. Her brother's doing a bit of pad work for her now. She's got a very tight-knit community camp.
Yeah.
I would like to see her get a stoppage in this fight. I think it's, but I think the performance is more important.
Yeah. This is tough. This is a tough fight, really tough, because Moraes is not coming to play. She's 5-0, and if she wins this, she puts her name into a big audience. So Hennessy has to be pretty much perfect, but that's a good fight. That's a good step up. That's what we want to see. Not just in Riyadh. That's and then I'll mention it because it's important. But Shannon Courtney, former world title holder, had a really good fight with Ebony Bridges. Has had some really good fights under Matchroom, and then sort of disappeared after being stripped, refusing to fight because of various things. Is returning on the undercard against Catherine Tacone Ramos, who's 5-3-1. Bit of a weird fight, but
important. You know what? She's been out for a year. She just win. It's a tick over fight.
Yeah, she just has to win. Get it done, move on. That's literally all it is. And make it look relatively easy if she wants to put herself back in world title contention. That is everything. Oh, Sam Hickey's debut, but I don't know anything about Sam Hickey, if I'm completely honest. So that is everything. We will obviously comment next week on how this main event goes. We might start doing a bit more interactive stuff in terms of comments throughout the week. So make sure you are commenting because we want to engage more people. And I think that's something we need to start doing. So thank you for joining us. And Paolo can do on his birthday the outro.
Players play, man. That's it.
Players. Yeah, fuck it. Players play.